your brain that keeps you from your amazingness. And that shaking in your brain is called self-talk.
Sean, we can't hear you.
Now you can hear me, I hope. So there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds a little distant, but we can hear you.
Yeah, it's because I don't have my regular mic. So I'll speak a little bit louder. I hope everybody's doing well. Here we go. September 1st, episode 923. We're now live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Who knows what's going on here? Thanks for the hearts on Instagram. Today's a conversation about the continuing of the master course. It's session 13. We're going to finish up chapter 2 today. And yes, let me make some co-hosts over here. Boom, boom, boom. In the house, co-hosts in the house. There we go. We got Panama coming in. Gotta click the co-host. There we go. So here we go. Yesterday we finished up with the conversation was a little bit beyond your grasp, right? Reaching for it. Can you reach for the goal? And you can't fail unless you think you can. And if you think you can fail, then you can, right? We heard that from The Secret. Think you can, think you can't. Either way, you're right. Good morning, Instagram. Great to have you all here. Good morning, Facebook, Daily Awakening crew. We're on page 38 of the Master Course. I got so many tabs open on different screens all up in here. So I got a 60-inch screen up there, my laptop here, another laptop here. Thanks everybody for your patience while this farm boy tries to figure all this out. Here we go. Purpose in nature. Purpose in nature. What does this say? Hold on. Action needed. Okay, so we'll just close that out. The greatest demonstration of the principle of definiteness of purpose may be seen by observing nature. Wait, what? By observing nature? You mean this thing that's natural thing that's out there, that the thing that we have a tendency to just let go by? There it is. There we go. That's a little brighter. Pump that up a little bit. All right. Nature moves with definiteness of purpose. Yes, it does. If there's anything in the universe that's definite, it's the laws of nature. They don't deviate. There's an old, I think it's a Cherokee saying, no two branches are foolish enough to fight amongst themselves for the sunlight. Think about that for a second. No two branches are foolish enough to fight amongst themselves for the sunlight. That's pretty powerful. If there's anything in the universe that's definite, it's nature. They don't deviate. They don't temporarily do things, right? They don't subside. They don't go, you can't go around them. You can't avoid them. You can, however, learn their nature, adjust yourself to them, and benefit by them. Nobody ever heard of the law of gravitation being suspended, even for a fraction of a second. That right there, one of those things, again, Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich, no fewer than 100 times has the secret to success been revealed on these pages. It's up to you to find them. It's up to you to find them. So here's my question. What are you looking for? This is when you activate your reticular activating system and you start to look and find what you're looking for. Because what you've got right now, congratulations, it's your thought. What you got right now, it's everything you thought. Sean, that's impossible. What's it say? Nobody ever heard of the law of gravitation being suspended even for a fraction of a second. It is constant and continuous. And the laws of the universe are constant and continuous. And you have exactly everything you've thought about. Maybe it wasn't this morning you thought about it. Listen, there is a gestation period for an idea, for a goal to happen, for an idea to come true. There's a gestation period. How long does it take for a dream to come true? Y'all follow me on this? What's showing up today could have been what you planted 5 days ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. This is your harvest. Let that sink in for a second. This is your harvest. So when you get frustrated and you want to change, you got to start when? You got to start now. How long do you have to do it? How often do you have to do it? Well, if gravity hasn't been able to be suspended for a fraction of a second, maybe it's going to require a little bit more discipline on your part. Maybe, I could be wrong. It has never been done. So gravitation suspended even for a fraction of a second. It has never been done and never will be, because nature's whole setup throughout the whole universe is so definite that everything moves with precision like clockwork. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now, just like clockwork. If you want an example of moving with definiteness, you only have to have a smattering of understanding of the sciences to see the way nature does things. In orderliness, the orderliness of the universe, the interrelation of the natural laws, the fixation of all of the stars and the planets in an immovable relationship. Isn't it a marvelous thing that the astronomers can sit down and predetermine hundreds of years in advance, exactly where given planets and stars will be in relationship to one another? Where will you be in relationship to your goals a month from now? Can you make it so predictable that you are going to perform and do the efforts necessary, required, that the work that is significantly needed in your world, so that it's predictable, right? Wallace D. Wattles in his book, Science of Getting Rich, says success is predictable. It is a mathematical formula. And when you understand the laws of the universe, you will be rewarded significantly, and it's predictable. They couldn't do it. Isn't it marvelous? Isn't it a marvelous thing that the astronomers can sit down and predetermine hundreds of years in advance exactly where given planets and stars will be in relationship to the other? They couldn't do that if it was not a. They couldn't do it if there was not a purpose and a plan under which we're working. We want to find out what that purpose is, and as it relates to us individuals. That's why you're in this course. That's why I'm teaching you, Napoleon Hill says. I'm giving you the little bit that I picked up from life and from the experiences of men, so that you'll learn just how to adjust to the laws of nature and use those laws instead of allowing yourself to be abused or neglected by them. Think about that for just a second. Let that sink into your soul. You're either going to use the laws or you're going to be abused and neglected by them. Some of you, when I say those words, abused and neglected, they take on a whole new meaning. They have a completely different understanding for you. You know what it's like to have verbal abuse, maybe some physical abuse. Maybe you had some older brothers and sisters and they used to pick on you. You know what it is to be abused. Now, some of you, it's at a significant level, and for that, I apologize. You're an amazing, strong soul who's made it through. Listen, you made it through. Yeah, I know it's still there. You made it through. We're talking now about the laws of the universe, right? If you wake up 5 minutes late, you can't get the 5 minutes back. The laws of the universe say time moves in one direction. What can you do to begin to take advantage of the laws of the universe? That you can understand them. You need to understand them. It would serve you well to understand humanity, to understand how you can operate in those laws. To me, one of the most horrible things to contemplate is the possible collapse of natural laws. Imagine all of the chaos, all of the stars and the planets running together if nature allowed her laws to be suspended. It would make the H-bomb look like a firecracker. But that doesn't do it. She doesn't do that. She has very definite laws to go by. if you look at the 17 principles, we haven't even gotten into this. Well, I guess we've gotten into number one, definiteness of purpose. If you look at the 17 principles that I set out below, you will find that they check out perfectly with the laws of nature. So hang on for just a second. Where you're at right now, any good, bad, indifferent, any things you're excited for, things you're not excited for, those are the laws of nature that you've put into effect to work for you in such a way that you have the current results you have. When you woke up this morning, the sun was here. The sun's coming up here in Arkansas. If I drop this pen, it's going to drop at the exact same rate it dropped yesterday. So if the variable, where's the variable in all of this? Somebody type it in one of the chats. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Where's the variable? If the laws are constant, where's the variable? Yeah, us. Me, you. You're absolutely right. Where's the variable? Hey, everybody on Instagram, good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we are the variable. And can you imagine how pissed off the laws of the universe are that says, I give you everything that you want. I give you everything that you want. I give you all that you need. Is that Nano? Oh my gosh. Nano in the house. Did y'all see him on stage? Some of you saw him on stage in Fort Worth here recently. Congratulations, brother. You're an absolute rock star. You're serving the world at the highest level. You're probably getting some bumps and bruises behind the scenes of learning and going through some trials, and that's growth. And so congratulations for just being this incredible, incredible soul. Thanks for making the world a better place. For those of you that may not know, Nano and I met 2 years ago. Yeah, 19. So maybe 2 full years ago. And just this most amazing student, and has done some incredible things with his company and become this leader who now stands on stages wrapped around the world and does just some incredible things. And here's how he did it. He became a good student. And he learned from some of the greatest people out there, reads books every day. He's the epitome of from being hungry, right? Les Brown, he had a conversation. I interviewed Les Brown a year ago, and he came on and asked Les some great questions. So I'm just extraordinarily honored to call him my friend and to watch his success. So congratulations, brother. Love you bunches. Thank you, thank you, thanks for making the world a better place. So let's continue on. To me, one of the most, okay, so if you look at the 17 principles, take the principle of going the extra mile. Well, there's Nano. That's the principle of going the extra mile. Look at Daniela and Rhonda Bird Parker, and look at Sharon, and look at everybody, Dana. Look at all of the individuals who absolutely go the extra mile. Kayla and Audra, everybody that's in the VIP group. You go the extra mile. Nature is profound in her application of this principle. When she produces blooms on a tree, she doesn't produce just enough to fill the tree. She produces enough to take care of all of the damage from the winds and the storms. You ever think about that? How a tree blooms, it already has wired into it any potential places where the blooms may get blown off, may get destroyed. What is the law of the extra mile that you're going to use today? What are you doing to prepare for any of the potential lack that may show up? Just because nature does that. Storms show up in your business. Storms show up in your life. Damage happens. Right? One tree is just perfectly fine and another tree falls down and takes off branches. It regrows. What's going to be your law of the extra mile? She produces enough to take care of the damage in the wind. When she produces the fish in the sea, she doesn't produce just enough to perpetuate the fish. She produces enough to feed the bullfrogs, the snakes, the alligators, and all other things, and still enough to carry out her purpose. She has an abundance and an overabundance. What would an overabundance in your life look like today? We talk about abundance, right? Have more than you need, have more than enough whenever you need it. What would be an overabundance? Some people have an overabundance of piss-offedness. Y'all know somebody like that? Some people have an overabundance of doubt. Some people have an overabundance of the not abundance stuff. What do you want abundance in today? What are you going to set your eyes on? What are you going to set your goals for abundance today? Sometimes it could be, I'm going to breathe with peace today. I'm going to have a level of confidence today. I'm going to breathe with joy and happiness. Nature also forces man to go the extra mile, or else he will perish. If nature didn't compensate a man who goes out and puts it in a grain of wheat in the ground and give him back 500 grains to compensate him for his intelligence, we'd starve to death in one season. Did you hear what it said there? Did you hear what it snuck in under the wire? It said, nature also forces man to go the extra mile, and he will perish. If nature didn't compensate a man who goes out and puts a grain of wheat in the ground by giving him back 500 grains to compensate for his intelligence. Y'all hear that? Plant a seed and get 500 back. Where is the intelligence? What is the intelligence that's being compensated for? The planting of the seed. How bountiful is the seed you're about to plant today? Is it going to produce 500-fold? Screw Grant Cardone, 10x, 10x. Nature will give you 500x. See, if we start to follow the laws of man, sometimes we can get distracted. Anybody know what I mean? When we follow the laws of man, we follow the laws of a leader who is maybe not of our nature and not using all of the principles. Maybe they use the principles differently, but 10x, what? 10x when nature gives you 500x? 100-fold return, we read it in the Bible. It's because you got to follow the formula. And part of the formula is fasting. When you hear the word fasting, what comes to mind? I got to starve myself? Until you know how to fast, yeah, it's going to be starving. Until you know how to fast yourself maybe from a little too much social media and scrolling, until you fast from a little too much doubt and fear and talking about how bad things are, until you fast, give up. Yeah, maybe some of you, it might be starving to give up the ideas that they're not good enough. They're not like me. They don't know what I've been through. No, nobody knows what you've been through. You know what the big problem is? You don't know what you've been through. It's time to plant the seed that'll give you 100-fold return. 10x is nothing. Everybody's wanting to get 10x. Follow the rules of a much older book, and there's 100-fold return. Plant a seed like a farmer, and you get 500-fold return. Plant one kernel of corn, and you get 2 or 3 years, but you get hundreds of more kernels. See, that's the challenge. Somebody goes, I plant one kernel of corn and I get 2 full ears of corn. I only got 2 ears of corn. No, you got hundreds more kernels. They just happen to be organized in a way called an ear of corn. Nature also forces man to go the extra mile or he will perish. If nature didn't compensate man when he goes out and puts the grain of wheat in the ground by giving him back 500 grains to compensate for his intelligence, we'd starve in one season. If you'll do your part, nature does her part, and she does it in an abundance and a superabundance. This is in the 1940s this was being written. What would superabundance look like in your life? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Superabundance. Using auto-suggestion. Here we go. For those of you that may be a little timid about self-talk, let me go on to this rule, use of auto-suggestion. Let me go on to this rule. Hypnotize yourself through auto-suggestion into believing you'll get the object of your desire. Do you ever try to hypnotize yourself? Have you ever been hypnotized? Yes, you have. You've been hypnotized every day. And I don't mean you were being knocked out, but you were undergoing a degree of hypnotism all the time. You're responding to the law of suggestion, and that's a form of hypnotism. Nir Ayal, who wrote the book Hooked, yellow cover, and it just says Hooked on the front of it, talks about how many of you, your phone is already dinged, binged, or vibrated, and you've picked it up and looked at it already. Drop a 1 in the chat. If while we're talking, there's been a text message pop in that's drawn your attention, there's been a phone vibrate or a message or something, just seriously, think about it. Drop a 1 in the chat if that's happened since we've started this call. And you subconsciously, fully conscious, went over and looked at it and made a determination whether you're going to get back to it or not. See, that's auto-suggestion. That's getting hooked on technology. Nothing wrong with it if you understand how you're hooked. If there's something that you know that is coming across your technology that you don't want to see, somebody's calling about a late bill or something like that, you'll avoid the phone. You'll get nervous of the phone. My house was destroyed in 2004. We were homeless for 3 years, not living on the streets, but we were homeless for 3 years, almost to the day. Meaning we didn't have a home that was ours. Insurance didn't pay. We were living off of our own money. Thank goodness for my profession of network marketing. And there'd be times when the phone would ring because at that time, we had gone about $1 million in debt. I had bought equipment for a company I was, quote, partner in. I bought all this new equipment and everything else, and my company had bought it, and they went out. They just went out of business after 50 years. So I should have filed bankruptcy, wasn't smart enough to know to do that, I guess. And during that time, still made the payment. So whenever the phone would ring, my gut would get into a knot. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Drop a K in the chat for knot. Drop a K in the chat. If you knew the phone was ringing and your gut would instantly turn into a knot because you knew it was somebody calling you for money and you were behind. That's when I changed the way I looked at things, was during that time. I would call him up and I'd say, hey, listen, Tommy, you've got the most difficult job on the planet right now, brother. I just want to say thank you for the attitude you have. Thanks for just the politeness you have. You got just a shit job calling people right now. And they got to have somebody who's got some skills and talent and just is an amazing soul. So I know I'm a pain in your ass and you got to call me every month, but I just want to say thank you I hope other people realize who you are and how polite you are to them. Maybe they can't hear it. So just let me say thank you. Changed his life, changed my life. He knew to call me. He would text me. We became friends. All of the bill collectors that I had became friends. Some of them joined me in my business, but they became friends because I thanked them for doing what they did, knowing full well they were getting their ass handed to them every day. People calling, screaming, not picking up the phone, all of that stuff. I can tell you, if you choose the way you respond, right? Sadhguru says you have a responsibility. Everything is your responsibility, your ability to respond. That makes sense? Take a successful man. Let's use hypnotism not to charge our subconscious mind with negative and fears and frustrations, but with the glorious things we want to do in life. The things we want, not the things we don't. Take a successful man or a successful woman. Those people are able to so thoroughly hypnotize themselves as they can see achievement already, as they can see the achievement already finished before they even start. It's a marvelous thing to be able to do that. Who saw the achievement before it was done and then passed away? Walt Disney, right? And they said at the news briefing when they opened it up on the opening day, and somebody said, one of the reporters said, man, it's a shame Walt wasn't here to see this. And what does brother say? If Walt didn't see this, we couldn't see it. None of this would exist if Walt didn't already see it. Are there people who work with you that can see your vision, that see where you're going? Do you have it clear enough that you see it? All right, here's the last paragraph for chapter 2. That's self-hypnosis. It means close your eyes to all of the no can do parts of the things and focus your attention on the can do parts. What can you do? I have people in my life that tell me every day when I have conversations with them, no, well, here's what we can't do. Well, we can't do that because of this, or I can't do that because of this. And I'm like, what can you do? What can you do today? Don't tell me what you don't have. Tell me what you do have. The telling me what you don't have is a form of procrastination. It's a form of perfectionism. How many of you are perfectionists? That's the no can do, perfectionist. I got to do it right. I got to do it perfect. Got to do it the best way possible. That's telling me what you can't do. What can you do? Done is the new perfect. Done is the new perfect. Are you getting things done? Are you ready for more? Are you ready to have more of what you want and less of what you don't? One of the strange things, focus on all the can-do parts. One of the strange things about nature is that if you keep your mind focused on the positive side of life, it becomes greater than the negative side. It always does that. You want to know some science? Here, you ready for some science to blow your mind? They can now do studies. The left prefrontal cortex stores the positive, the left prefrontal cortex stores the negative, the right prefrontal cortex stores the positive neurons in your brain. They can literally count them. Can you imagine the insurance tests of the future? You walk in because of technology, when you walk through the office door, when you get on a Zoom, they can do a brain scan on you and see how many negative and positive neurons you have in your brain. And if you have let me ask you this. If you have a tendency to have more negative, does anybody know any negative people? Drop an N in the chat somewhere if you know some negative people. If you know some negative people and been around some negative people, why do you think they're negative? Well, I can understand compared to us, maybe compared to you, compared to other people. I get that. There's an average flow of a human being. There's people who have bad days. I get that. But Joe Dispenza says your personality makes up your personal reality, or your personal reality makes up your personality. Depends which way you decide the flow is going. But there's negative people out there. What do you think their brain is wired with? A little bit more positive neurons or a little bit more negative neurons? So you can receive, okay, I have to read that question, Michael. So if that's the case, you have a choice. Well, if you're a negative person by nature, if you find the fault in everything, if you're looking at everything that's not working, you have a tendency, you're a negative person. It doesn't mean you're negative by nature, it just means that you look at everything in a negative way. 51% versus the 51% negative, 49% positive. A lot of the times, most people can't tell. You're a pretty average person. But I can tell you, when you respond to something, when you look at something, if the first thing you say is, well, that's shit, that's no good, you have a tendency, you're more negative than positive. If every time a challenge pops up, this is a tough one. This is why you might be stuck. When things pop up that didn't go your plan and you say, man, that sucks, doesn't in every suck include the success? Why are you finding the negative in everything? Every problem has the solution. Aren't you excited about the solution? How can you ever see the solution if you're pissed off about the problem? Even in the solution is a problem. How many of you like hot coffee? Anybody like tempered coffee? Like room temperature coffee? Blech. Either iced or hot, right? Well, hot coffee is a problem because some woman burned her crotch and she got $1 million from McDonald's. And now they got to put a warning label on it. I feel sorry that she had damage to her body, injured her body. But we all want hot coffee. Well, sometimes it could be a bad thing too, can't it? You follow what I'm saying? Ice cream's good. Ice cream's good. But if it doesn't stay frozen, it melts, and all of a sudden it's not so good anymore. So all I'm asking is can you change the way you look at things? Can you, Dr. Wayne Dyer, the moment, change the way you look at things? And what was going to be just a hellstorm, can you go, this is going to be awesome? Your life will change dramatically. Your life will change instantly. If you really need some help, it just started. Season 13 just started yesterday. I'd encourage you to get on the gratitude call with Daniela Jukic. It's Gratitude with Danny, D-A-N-I, Gratitude with Danny at 11 o'clock Eastern. I dare you for 28 days. I dare you. Anybody get started on it. I'll dare you. 28 days. Go through all 28 days. I'll send you $100. Show up 28 days. Send me your stuff. This is for new people, not for the people who's already been. This is for all of the new people. Anybody who dares to get on that call. You can check in today. You missed yesterday, but you can check in today. I dare you to go for 28 days and watch your life change. Easiest $100 you'll ever make. I dare you. Why would I give you that? Because life will get in your way. Life will get in your way. Oh, I missed one day. Listen, the universe is waiting on you. And if you miss one day, the universe says, screw you. You don't love me anymore. We're starting over. This is called discipline. This is called focus. You really need to understand the laws of the universe. And when you do, it's not a frickin', I almost said the other word, it's not a frickin' algorithm. Your success is not based on the algorithm of a program that uses you as a frickin' product. You're on social media right now. There's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, and I've got Zoom going. We're using technology, but we're using it. It's not using us. At least it's not using me. It might be using you because I'm on it. My goal is to give you more, 10x, 100x the value of the time that you got here. Give you a nugget so you can walk away and begin and implement it right now. So if you're worrying about algorithms, listen, my business has grown more in the last 4 days than it has in the last year. My personal business. Why? Because of the way I'm using technology, the way I'm using it to help build my success, not me build its success. I'm not hypnotized by algorithms. One of the strange things about nature is that if you keep your mind focused on the positive side of life, it becomes greater than the negative side. It always does that. If you keep your mind on the positive side, it becomes greater than all of the negatives that may try to penetrate your mind and influence your life. What is the wall you build around you? Is the wall you build around you that wall that's, well, I need to protect myself. Are you protecting yourself with fear? Or are you protecting yourself with joy? Because listen, you could be joyful and extremely exciting and happy, and you'll still keep 100 people away from you. You'll still keep all of the people who want to piss you off away from you. You don't have to use fear. You don't have to sit in fear and frustration and aggravation. Sit in joy. It's one of my secrets. I sit in joy and people don't bother me. They're like, he's weird. Yes, I am. He's weird. I don't want to talk to him. He's nuts. Yes, I am. I'm crazy. Cuckoo. So that's the end of chapter 2, session 13. This is going to be a good course when it gets released. Listen, you've got some time if you want to join us in the Facebook group. Not today, you won't get access to it, but you can start tomorrow. I'm about to go change the price on that. I didn't do it last night. I was with friends and got all excited in conversations with them, went down to the boat and stuff, and we had a beverage, an adult beverage or two. So you can go to personalundevelopment.com, and you can get signed up. And yeah, we'd love to have you and love to have some conversations with you. So we're going to break right now. So YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I'm your head misfit, Sean Murphy. I'll see you all where?